One man worships a golden cow. Another thinks nothing exists after death. But what if both are equally lost? Today, we're not mocking belief. We're flipping the mirror. What if rejecting belief is the most absurd belief of all? Have you ever asked yourself, why am I here? Not in a poetic way. Literally. That's abandonment. A mind that questions everything, but never questions itself, is trapped. Belief in nothing is still a belief. Followers of fame, of brands, of manifestation, they all bow to something, but a false god can't answer you when you're alone. Even atheists build altars. They just call them apps. Why you? Why now? And why anything? You're not broken. You're just disconnected. That emptiness, it's your soul calling its source. You were made for more. Many think rejecting religion is intelligence. But how smart is it to believe in nothing, miss it? One perfect creator, not a pantheon of flawed beings. Islam calls this tawheed, absolute oneness. Not many gods arguing, just one God, guiding. So let me show you some evidence that the message was indeed sent to humanity in Arabic. When someone mentions Allah, your brain translates it to God. But that's not all. We all say Lord. That's how we know God is plural. Well, actually, Lord in English is singular. It's just a title like Mr. or Sir. And Muhammad is his final messenger, right? For example, you wouldn't say, my lords, to refer to one principle. You'd say, my Lord. Therefore, if you trace back the bloodline of everyone on earth, you will find that you're related to each other somehow. It means that we acknowledge their connection to God and their status as his prophets. The first European to accept Islam was Sergius of Rus, who became Muslim in the year 988 CE. Some worship cows. That's why the Holy Quran says, O humanity, indeed we created you from a male. Some worship fame. Some believe in nothing at all. But the truth has always been one. But the world is full of absurd beliefs. There is no God but God. And if you search with your heart, you will find him. The very first mosque in Europe was built in the city of Kiev in Azerbaijan, now known as Baku. Neither did Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Today, the oldest and third largest mosque in Paris, France, stands as a testament to the early beginnings of Islam in Europe. But why does it matter that it does? Remove God, and you remove purpose. That's not liberation. In fact, during the Middle Ages, more Europeans were Muslim than Christian. In fact, scientists tell us that the most genetically distant human beings from each other are still only around 0.2% different. So if someone thinks they're superior to Muslims and chooses to leave Islam, they're essentially cutting themselves away from their own ancestry and turning away from their own roots. In the process, they lose a part of themselves. Guess what? And a female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know one another. Surely the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous among you. Do you see a problem here? Actually, many people do. So whether you're Muslim or not, know that you're a child of Adam, a descendant of Noah, a grandson of Abraham, and a nephew of Jesus, peace be upon them all. So, saying my Lord to refer to God is a mistranslation. How fitting is that? You don't know Arabic, so you lack the frame of reference. But guess what? He spoke Arabic. In fact, he's the one who popularized the term Allah among Arabs, since it was one of many words they used for God, but not exclusive to God. You know how your heart beats. He is not many. He is one. No one stops worshipping. They just change the object. It hits at night, or in silence. That aching feeling something's... Well, the word God in English is derived from the Old English word God. Let's dissect the very first verse in the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, stop for a second. The word created here should be translated as formed. The Hebrew word used here, bara, doesn't mean created in the sense of something coming from nothing. It means formed in the sense of something coming into existence from something else. Number one, you speak English. For example, a pottery that takes clay and forms it into a cup didn't create the clay, nor did it create the idea of a cup. It simply formed the cup from the clay and the idea. Some worship cows. Some worshipped fame. Some believe in nothing at all. Isn't that proof of a polytheistic origin? Well, hold on. But the truth, this perfectly aligns with the Islamic view that God formed the universe from whatever existed prior to it. In other words, there was nothing before God. God simply formed the universe from that nothingness. Hence, there is no God but God. That word means good in Old English. The German word for God is Gott, which is a combination of the words Gott, also meaning good. The Spanish word Dios sounds awfully close to Dios, which means of God, and it's actually a remnant of the Latin Deus Deorum, which means the God of gods. This points to the fact that every single language in the world acknowledges one supreme God, though some got confused somewhere along the line. God is not three. That's how the Quran begins. Not by pleasing you, but by challenging you. It doesn't beg you to believe. It tells you, if you are sincere, you'll find it. And it will find you. Deep inside, we all know. The truth can't contradict itself. This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for the conscious. Islam never said just believe. It says, look, think, has always been one. There is no God but God. And Muhammad is his final messenger. Ask. The Quran even invites critics to disprove it. Who does that? Unless they're telling the truth. Islam doesn't fear your questions. It welcomes them. The world's full of absurd beliefs. Now, before you click off, because you clicked on this video, I assume you have two things in common with me. Now, back to the video. Okay, so the word isn't foreign. It's just hidden behind a language barrier. But wait, you might say, how do we know these translations are correct? Oh, but what about all the other names for God in the Bible? If all of humanity originated from one common ancestor, then all of humanity shares the same bloodline. And if you're wondering what peace be upon them means, it's a sign of respect, similar to how we say rest in peace to the dead. Finally, if you think that Islam is some Middle Eastern cult, think again. Islam arrived in Europe well before Christianity. Look, the fact that you clicked on this video shows that you're curious about Islam. If you want to know what Islam really teaches, subscribe. And remember, this is not religious advice, just a spark for reflection. If you seek knowledge, ask with sincerity.